Welcome to the Shine Away podcast. I'm joined today by Travis Keal. Travis is a 30-year retired educator, 25 years as head coach, the 2023 Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association Hall of Fame inductee, six-time Kansas Wrestling Coach of the Year, seven-time Regional Coach of the Year, the two-time Kansas Coaches Association Coach of the Year, two-time National, we're just going to go with abbreviation, two-time NFHS Sectional Coach of the Year. He was a team USA wrestling coach for 13 years, serving as a cadet division leader, the former president, vice president, and board member of the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association. Mill Valley was the 2020 6A state champions. They were also the 6A academic state champions that year. In 5A, during his run at Mill Valley, they finished third three times in 2015, 2016, and 2021. And they also earned fourth place twice in 2017, 2018. He had 11 individual state champions, 62 state placers, 53 all-state academic team members, 7 regional championships, 5 league championships. He had 1 national champion, 7 All-Americans. Coach Keal also found time during his career to coach football for 10 years and baseball for 3 years. He's a John Gordon certified coach, speaker, and trainer, the creator of Climb Coaching, which we'll talk about later. And he's married to Michelle and has 3 children. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Jake, for having me. I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to share my coaching career with your listeners, and just grateful for the opportunity. And I'm very appreciative of what you're doing with the Shine Away podcast to spotlight coaches and sharing their stories, because every high school, every middle school in the country has coaches out there doing great work, and what you're doing to spotlight them is awesome. And I'm really grateful and thankful to be on here and share my story with you.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say, and we're honored to have you and everything that you've done. I mean, that was a long list, a successful career as a coach, and now trying to do your best with Climb Coaching to help other coaches. And so let's take it all the way back to when you were a youngster, and just what sports did you grow up playing?
I grew up playing every sport, Jake. I was a gym rat. I was always outside throwing a football, baseball, whatever season it was. I was doing it. So my first love was baseball. I mean, I played baseball, football, basketball, wrestling, soccer a little bit when I was really young. But when I got to high school, it was more of football, basketball, and baseball. And I got cut from basketball my sophomore year, and pushed me to wrestling. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I've had just some struggles, but that struggle was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, getting cut from basketball and being pushed over across the hall to the wrestling room, and falling in love with the sport. But really, I fell in love with the coaches of that sport, and what they did for me and how they pushed me. And I'm very grateful to those guys, Coach Mark Loneacre and Mike Boyd, taking me under their wing and turning me into the person I am today. And very grateful. But I was involved in everything growing up. Just played outside and liked to compete. I don't know if I was good at anything, but I like to do everything. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my story as a youngster.
Well, you briefly touched on it there with Coach Mike and Coach Mark, and honestly, I'm not sure who the basketball coach was, but even though getting cut is not fun for anyone, and being the coach that cuts kids is not fun for anyone,
Hmm.
but you didn't let that stop you. You actually took that and made you the man you are today. The success you've had in the wrestling probably doesn't happen if you don't get cut in there. So outside of Mike and Mark, and you can touch on them even further, but were there any other coaches through your youth or high school ranks that kind of piqued your interest into leadership and also coaching?
So like I said, Mark Longacre, Mike Boyd, Doug Lee, he was high school football coach. He was a neighbor of mine, and then really the one that propelled me to do what I'm doing now is my college wrestling coach, Coach Jody Thompson. Um, just a great man, a great leader. I just remember being in those practices and just looking up to him and say, wouldn't that be awesome to be that way someday where kids are focused in on you, they buy into your message, and he's just a great leader of people. And he was a great leader of people because of the way he led himself, his family, himself, his marriage, the community, and then us wrestlers. And I just thought, man, that would be awesome to do someday. I don't know if I can ever do it, but I'm going to try. And Coach Jody Thompson, I owe a lot to him. And every time I see him now, I give him a hug and tell him I love him. So it's just coaches are amazing people.
And that's a big reason why I love these conversations I'm getting to have on this podcast is every person that I have talked to so far, and I'm assuming the majority that I'll talk to even further down the road, have somebody that made that imprint on their life. And whether it's a coach or teacher or an uncle, a dad, a mom, whatever, somebody has impacted them. So just hearing those stories, you kind of started down that road, and so let's just continue it. You know, you coached for 25 years as a wrestling coach. Why did you do it?
Why did I do it? Because there's a quote out there that says a coach will impact more people in 1 year than most people do in a lifetime. And I wanted to learn take what I learned from my career and from my coaches, and I wanted to go and shape the youth that I came in contact with, and I wanted to impact their life in a positive way. Um, to watch kids, I wanted to help kids go through struggle and show them what was possible and show them that they can overcome struggle and they're going to be better because they had that struggle. And to watch them on the other side of that struggle, to get them to believe in themselves, to have confidence in themselves, because a lot of teenagers are not confident in themselves. They don't believe in themselves, but with the right coaching and mentorship, they can see the light, and you can help them formulate a plan to get to that light. And that's just watching kids grow each day. And to me, the best thing was to watch them come in as freshmen and to watch them leave as a senior, the growth that they had, and the way they overcame struggles, and the way they stuck to things. And we helped them as a coaching staff go through those struggles and come out on the other side a better person. But like my why was just I just wanted to help people, help kids on their journey, just be a little piece of their puzzle in their life. And I wanted to really be a leader of a program, not just a coach of a team.
Yeah, that's something that um, I think all the good coaches come to realize is that you can't just be a coach. You got to be the leader of a program, and to really have success year in year out, you've got to have some standards that you don't change. Like this is who we are. Yeah, you may have to mold it one thing because obviously you've been 25 years. The difference of way coaching 25 years ago was to today may be different, but at the end of the day, this stuff that your program's about still the same. Maybe you have to get it across to them in a different way or interact with them in a different way. There's changes that have to happen, but what was it about your program that allowed you to have such a long, successful career? I mean, looking through your accolades, obviously you guys had some ups, had some downs, but more often than not, you were very successful. So what was it about your program that made you successful for 25 years?
So when in 20 in 2000, I got named the head coach at Mill Valley High School. I was 30 years old. Okay, so I sat down in that office at Mill Valley, and I still have this sticky note with me today, Jake. Like I wrote four things down, and these four things stayed on my office wall for the 22 years I was the head coach at Mill Valley High School. So the first one, I wrote these down, was build a positive championship program daily. Number two was stick to the program's philosophy. What that meant was whatever techniques or positions I wanted to teach that year, we would stick with them through the whole season. We're not going to change things in the middle of the year. I thought this stuff through. It was important enough to start with, so we're going to see it through. And then the third one was improve all athletes daily. And then the fourth one was win championships. So, like I said, I wrote on this back in 2000. And then that formula from that looked good. But I'm like, you have to be able to go out and you have to be able to articulate that to your stakeholders. Stakeholders being your student athletes, your assistant coaches, your administration, the parents, and the community. So I created a vision, and the vision was to create student athletes of character through the sport of wrestling. Means simple. And then from that vision, our mission was we're going to build a positive championship program that values student athletes and adds value to their future. That is how we're going to interact with you. From that, we had our 5 pillars of Jaguar wrestling. Number 1 was accountability or academics. Number 2 was accountability. Number 3 was positive attitude and mental approach. Number 4 was positioning. And number 5 was technique. That board is still in our new wrestling room at Mill Valley High School, which was created in 2000. So I really focused on the culture every day, getting the right people in the right seats. That means assistant coaches, but being able to sell the program to people that didn't know anything about wrestling. I mean, we're in Western Johnson County. Mill Valley is a brand new high school. I had to get out there and I had to sell the vision of the program and what I wanted it to look like and be. And some people thought I was crazy. Oh, that will never happen. Okay, but I'm not a person that listens to outside noise. I can stay focused and truthfully, Jake, I had to lean on this sticky note a lot because we got beat pretty bad our first year by Santa Fe Trail. They were a really good team, and we didn't have the athletes to compete with them. And I came back and I was feeling sorry for myself, and I looked up at this, and it kind of told me like, hey, get focused on the right things, build this thing like you said you were going to build it, and that's kind of how I sold it to the people, and I'm very proud of that, like because it was hard work to start a wrestling program from scratch. We had to start the kids club, the middle school and the high school, and being able to have that vision and that north star to guide people. It was a lot easier to get people on board with us. And I still got like I'll go to the gym at Snap Fitness and work out. And people will come up and, hey, coach, thanks for what you did for Mill Valley, and thank you for building that wrestling team the way you did. And that really like that makes me feel good. And the wins aside, just being the organizer of that and then seeing it through.
Yeah, the hearing from people, not necessarily, obviously the championships and the success like that is tangible that you can see. They're up on the banners on the wall, the trophies, whatever. That's amazing, and that's nothing to shake a stick at by any means. But being able to be at a workout and somebody just say thank you for the time and the effort that you put in is big. I know there's a lot of time put in it from every coach, all you and all your staff that you've had through the years. That you guys put in hours upon hours to try to help these. One of the things that when you were talking there through your 4 sticky note items, that I love all 4 of them, but improve all athletes daily.
Hmm.
Um, so how many students, just to give me a baseline, how many students would you typically have on a wrestling team?
Um, in the beginning, it was more around 30, but towards the end, it was around 60.
Okay. So you have 60 student athletes, and in today's wrestling programs, now they not only boys, but now they have the girls side too. So you
Hmm.
60 to 80, say boys and girls. How do you go about improving all athletes on a daily basis? Some athletes are just self-starters, and they're driven to be successful. And then you have other athletes that maybe aren't quite that. So how do you go about working with the ones that are driven but also ones that you got to push, and I mean, how did you balance all of that every day?
So I think it's done at the culture level, like the five pillars. I'd always tell, like, if you're on this team, you're important to the coaching staff and you're important to this team. You're a valuable part of this team. And I always talk culture through those pillars. So I would explain to them what accountability meant. Accountability means we have to come in here daily and give our best effort. It doesn't matter if you win all your matches, lose all your matches, or you win half. Like, you're important and we want you to come and try to jump levels each day. And I was very my training plans are very detailed. I have daily objectives, and this is how we're going to pursue this, and this is how we're going to get better at this today. And people always ask, Coach, how'd you get your kids to work hard? It was just the expectation that, that when they were in that room, they were working hard. And communication is the key. Like, you got to communicate to connect with these kids and show them the why behind why we're doing this. This is why we're doing this. Doesn't matter if you're JV, varsity, you're you're expected to come in here and give your best effort daily and try to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. That's really all we have control of. I can't say, like, I'm gonna have 14 state champs. Like, it's not possible in a high school. Like, you got to take what you have and you got to make them better daily. And I thought we did a really good job of that at Mill Valley, like keeping the kids motivated. I had really good relationships with them, so I knew when to push, I knew when to back off, I knew when they needed a kick in the rear. Um, but I was always connecting with them outside of the room. I need to see your eyes and I need to see where you are. And I really knew my kids. I had really good relationships with them, and I knew where to go with them to get them to be the best that they could be on and off the mat. That was like, it was a standard. Like, we're going to give our best at all we're doing, whether it's in the classroom, whether we're out doing community service, whether we're on the bus ride and then we got to clean our mess up on the bus, or after the tournament is over, we're going to clean our area up and leave it better than we found it. And it's just, everything we did was intentional and everything we did was important. And I think you have to share with the kids the why. So you have to communicate to connect with them. A good leader, you you have you have the dots. You must connect the dots. Like that you have to. A good leader, you got to be able to connect the dots with those kids and telling them the why. But that's kind of how we did it, and we had it. There was times when our Mill Valley wrestling room wasn't very big, so we had to split practices up. That was probably the best thing we ever did. So we had our top 20 to 22 athletes in one practice. And then we would have our younger kids, the next 30 to 40 kids come in and they would have a different practice. But it was, we were coaching them better because we were spending more time with them. It's kind of like the varsity basketball team don't practice with the freshman basketball team. So, but we continued that after we got our brand new room because it was very beneficial to our kids to coach them and to make sure that they were understanding our system. And when they got into the varsity lineup, I seen that they were better prepared to go. I mean, we've had a lot of kids come out of that first group that were state medalists that just started wrestling as eighth graders or ninth graders. Our first state champ at Mill Valley, I pulled out a PE class, never wrestled before as a freshman. He won state as a junior. So, I mean, you got to have systems, and it's not easy to to come up with training plans that makes everybody better. That's kind of the in this business I'm doing now. People always ask me the question, like, "Well, how do you make your good kids better and your not so good kids better?" I'm like, with the good training plans. Like, you're the leader, you got to figure that out, and
Yeah.
you got to move everybody along. So I've had 3 time state champs, Fargo Americans. Like, I can make them better, but I can also make those kids down here climb, like, move up the ladder. And that's what a good leader and coach does. But that, to answer your question, like, just building relationships and connecting with kids.
Yeah. On that, one of the questions I like to ask wrestling coaches, because I'm not a wrestling guy by nature, I'm a basketball guy, so it's natural that it's seen as a team sport. Obviously, you need 5 guys or ladies on the court to play. When you look at a wrestling match, it's one-on-one for that period of time. And so not everybody sees the team aspect that goes into it and all the people that support that individual wrestler. How do you make sure kids understand that this is still a team? Yes, you may go out there and win every match, be a 3-time state champion, but you need to help all everybody else, all 59 other kids on this team get better as well as the leader of the program.
Well, they're just, I mean, when you come into our wrestling room, I'm talking team from day one. So th- that's pushed through the coaching staff. That's pushed through our leadership council. Like this is a team because those state championship trophies over there, they count points, and you have to have it. Like one state champion can't win a state championship trophy for a team. So everything we start team, we end practice as a team. When someone is struggling, we pick them up as a team. But when we're out competing, like at duels, when a person is out there wrestling, our team is right here locked in. We're not on our phones. We're cheering for them, win or lose. We stand up, we hug them, we shake their hand. And then probably the best thing I ever seen was at the state tournament when the kids are out there wrestling and their teammates are bent over at the state wrestling tournament. They got those little hockey buffers like that you'd have for a hockey rink, and you can lean on them. But we have Mill Valley kids leaned over, beating on those standards, cheering for their teammates, and that's one of the best things. Just to look over and see that, and that makes me smile because they could be up there sitting with their girlfriend, taking a nap, but like especially when we were really good, all of our kids were down there. We'd have guys in the finals wrestling Saturday night, but they would want to come Saturday morning to cheer their teammates on because they knew we were in the running for a trophy and they wanted to be there to support them. And I thought that was really, really cool. I mean, some gets a misconception of an individual sport, but if you're truly building being a leader of a program, it's a team, and you find ways to share those messages with your kids. Like, hey, this is a team. We need all 60 of you guys to contribute. And my big thing was everyone in this program is going to have a championship moment sometime this year. And we're going to celebrate it. And kids would say, like, Coach, I'm not going to be a state champ. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. You're going to have a shining moment where we're going to celebrate you. And it could be getting an A on a math test. It could be being an Eagle Scout. It could be winning wrestling matches. But we are going to have a championship moment for all these kids at some point in this team. And kids cheer for one another. Like, Coach, he got his championship moment. Can we celebrate him? And it's culture. And it's like I talk in this program I talk about like good coaches invest in culture daily. And I've had some coaches like, I don't have time to do that. Like, we want to put you on our schedule then, because I'm going to show you how important culture is.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we we talked about team, and it was important to us. We're a team.
I do think I agree with you. Culture is something that is vital to a good program. And I do think there are times where even good coaches get so busy with everything else that sometimes they forget to focus daily on that culture with their program. And so the ones that can do that, it's impressive to see. I was fortunate to be in Wichita during the 5A wrestling championships this last year, and so I was slipped over to watch um, a kid in my son's class, Emerson Jaden from
Hmm.
DeSoto, didn't go his way, but throughout watching some of those state championship matches, just the excitement that each team had when their kid made a move or got some points or whatever. Especially there was a couple upsets in the championship. Well, Emerson got upset, and that kid's team was they were right there and they were in it with him, and
Hmm.
he needed everything they had because it went to overtime and it was a very tight match, and it was pretty cool to see just the support that they had during that time, and that those kids were letting them know that, hey, we're with you. We're going to help you find a way to do this. So With all of the kids that you've coached, what are some of the life aspects, things that you hope that 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever, if you get a wedding invitation or a birth announcement to one of their kids, that when you have a chance to sit down with them, that you hope that they remembered from the time under your tutelage?
I mean, I hope that they remember how we treated them and how we were there for them, not only on their up days, but I want them to understand that we were there for them when they struggled, and we were there to hug them, to love them, and to pick them up and tell them like, "Hey, we're proud of you, and you're going to go on and do great things." And just they're never going to remember the wins and the losses, but they will remember how you made them feel. Like I had 2 weddings this past spring. One, Ryan Burnett, he was a former wrestler. He coached with me, but he called me and he wanted me to like I was the preacher of his wedding. So I got certified and I did his wedding, and then I seen a lot of my former athletes at that wedding, and they all gave me a hug and told me they loved me. And then my son Zach got married this past summer in June, and then a lot of guys I coached were there, and they all just coming up telling me what they're doing now and how much the the not that what we did for them, but just we were a little piece of their success and in their future. I want them to be good husbands. I want them to be good dads. I want them to be good people in the community, and I want them to give back in some way, shape, or form to a sport that did a lot for them.
Yeah, so I coach middle school basketball, and that's when and I've coached a lot of youth sports as well. And my whole mission was for them to enjoy whatever sport it was, have fun doing it, learn a little bit, but enjoy it playing it, so that maybe they make it on their middle school team, and then maybe they make it on their high school team, or at least have the courage to try out and enjoy the sport. I don't want it to stop when they're 9. I don't want it to stop when they're 10. I wanted to get if I was coaching a wrestler, I want them to get to you and then see what can happen. And so hearing that you impacted so many kids that they were looking forward to having a conversation with you after the fact is what it's all about. I mean, yes, the wins matter in the moment to them, but the things that they've learned from you, whether it's helping them be successful in their career, helping them be successful as a husband or a father, or now a wife and a mother. I mean, that's ultimately what I believe coaches are after.
100%. Like how are we helping them 10 years down the road?
How did you so this is kinda gonna segue into your new business venture, climb coaching, but before you get there, and this may kinda just tie into why you started it, but how did you go about in your 25 years continuing to grow yourself? Because one of the things that is easy to do is you have success early, you have success at any point in your 25 years, you think you've figured it out and stopped growing yourself. And then you're starting to do a disservice to your program and to your kids, the next crop of kids. So, what did you do to kind of grow yourself and the things you needed to do to better your program year after year?
Well, first thing is I stayed humble and I stayed hungry. Like those 2 things, I knew that people think once you get to the top, like things get easier. Once you get to the top, it gets a lot more difficult. And if you don't continue to grow, you're going to fall backwards fast. So my message was like, when I grow, those around me are going to grow. And that was always my philosophy. So we would get back from the state tournament, and on Sunday after the state tournament, I would already have a list of 10 things I needed to get better at to help our program move forward. Everyone always wants to elevate their program, but you must first elevate yourself in order to elevate your programs. I was always Jake. I never stopped learning. If it was a book, a podcast, conversations with other coaches, getting on flow wrestling and searching for techniques that we were weak at. I just And when I would take teams to these places all over the country, I would seek out the best coaches and I would ask them questions. Like I would like Scott Green at Wyoming Sim, their number one prep school in the country. I would ask him questions. Like there's just so much out there. I never thought I was a good coach. I never thought I knew anything. I just wanted, I know I got to move this program forward. I got to continue to grow and I got to continue to chase greatness in order to help my kids do that. So I gotta be the model of what I'm trying to get them to do. I gotta model those behaviors. So if I want kids going to Fargo, North Dakota, guess what? I gotta go with them. If I was always bringing people in here for camps and clinics, and I just really I never stopped, Jake. Like I always told my wife August was my month off, but like really I was still doing something with Mill Valley Wrestling, trying to get better. But it was like the kids motivated me. I mean, they're they wanted to be great, and in order for them to be great, I had to be great. And I just think sometimes, I mean, I've been to Olympic Training Center a couple times. I was in we go down to Oklahoma State all the time. John Smith was a great mentor. Like he was very welcoming, and you could ask him questions, and he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all times. And there's a lot of people in our sport out there that want to help you if you're willing to ask. And I just, if someone offered something, I took them up on it, and there was just no stone left unturned. Like I did, turned every stone over. I was trying to make our program the best it could be.
That's something I tell the kids all the time, and I've told other coaches I've talked to that my belief is if I'm a coach of this program and I'm gonna ask them to give me everything they have, then in turn, they deserve everything I have each year and even to continue to grow. And so the fact that you were able to look everywhere and seek out people, even with the success, you didn't let your success stop you from asking somebody else, "Hey, what do you do here?" Or "How did you handle something like this?" Like, you're still learning to grow. And now in retirement, you're still doing the same thing. And, you decided, "I don't wanna just take it easy. I don't wanna just ride off into the sunset." You decided, "I'm gonna get John Gordon certified and start climb coaching." So tell me about climb coaching and what you're trying to do for coaches.
So I started it. So I stopped coaching in 2022. And I still had 3 more years to teach at Mill Valley before I could retire. And part of that was I needed to be able to go see my boys wrestle. Like if they were wrestling in college. Zach was at West Point, Austin was at Arkansas Little Rock. The first 2 years I managed it, and then it just became damn like I'm going to have to go step away from this and be able to go watch my own sons wrestle because that was their dream to wrestle Division One, and I needed to be there for them. And so when that happened, always in the back of my head was, you got to do something to help coaches. You got to do something to help coaches. And I would be sitting in services at school. I mean, I taught 30 years, so I sat in a lot of in services, a ton. Um, it was always in the back of my head. Why do they never bring anyone in here for us coaches on these in service days? And I said, someday when I'm done, I'm going to create a program that can fit in with the professional development of what principals and athletic directors and school systems are doing, where I can come in on these days and I can help coaches build a positive championship program and help them take little nuggets from what I'm teaching and make their program better. I want them to be able to reflect, learn, and grow so they can positively impact those they're leading. And I want them to be able to take, so I have 9 principles that go with my climb coaching workshop. And I teach those 9 principles and I show them actionable tools. And then within those tools, I have stories on what this looks like, because you're best to serve the person you used to be, Jake. And I really feel like you're best to serve the person that you used to be. So, that's kind of where climb coaching came from. I wanted to go out and share the things that I've learned because I've had great opportunities. Um, I've been in a lot of different coaching venues, but I've also had struggles, and I wanted to share. what I learned in those areas to help coaches now. I don't want them to be like me. I want them to be better than I am. I want them to take things from me and make their program better. So in this workshop, I think I've done 10 this fall. Like I've been to Dodge City, McPherson, Parsons, uh, Towanda Circle, Siloam Springs, Arkansas, Oologah, Oklahoma. Been to El Paso, Texas. I went to the NWCA in Florida, and then I did the Keisha Salina Coaching School, and I got a couple things here lined up in November, and I got some after the first of the year as well. But when I go into these places, these coaches are going to get a workbook that goes along with my presentation, and it goes through the principles and shows how to apply them. And then in the back of it, there's a 15-step action plan to show you how to build a positive championship program. And I want them to take those things out and be able to go implement them today. And so I do, and I got John Gordon certified, so I can teach his work as well. And that you talk about growth. I meet with his group once a month, and I get so much benefit from that on how to be positive, how to teach positivity, and how to develop leaders. And another thing I do is I do a 20-week head wrestling coach leadership and mentoring program. So I have a curriculum. This is to be the fourth year that I'm doing it. So I got a group that starts this coming Sunday, and then I have another group early Monday morning. And I will take them through 20 weeks. So basically, I have a curriculum, but they have a group to meet with once a week. And we share the good, the bad, and how we're going to fix it. And they get access to basically everything I've ever created as a wrestling coach for 25 years when they're in this group. This past Tuesday, I started, so I've had coaches come through this program and they want more. So I created a leadership circle. So I started that this past Tuesday with several coaches, and I got a new curriculum for that. Um, I've also worked with business leaders. So a company out in Boston called AVI-SPL. It's a worldwide company. In the New England division, I worked with their leader. I was his culture coach for like 6 months, and then I worked with his middle management people for about 10 weeks. I took them through the energy bus to focus on mindset and how to overcome negativity and stay positive. So I can do keynotes. Like there's just a lot of I want to be able to help leaders and coaches build positive teams. And because positive, sometimes people think, oh, being positive is weak. It's not. Being positive is it helps you stay focused and come up with solutions when things do struggle or things do go negative. And that's what positivity is positivity is a competitive advantage, and it helps the leader, because people look at you when you're a leader when things are going south, and they're looking at you like, how are you going to make this come back up? And the really good leaders can stay positive and focused on the task at hand and come up with solutions. And that can happen in your field. That can happen in coaching. That can happen in being a principal, an athletic director, a CEO of a company. Like everyone has those things that they need to overcome. And our message with the John Gordon Company is just let's stay positive and find a way through this and be able to connect with people and get them moving in the right direction.
Yeah. The
But that's
I liked all of that. I really love the wrestling coaching mentorship that you're doing, because so many coaches get this first job and think they've got it all figured out. And then, as you mentioned early on, you had to really struggle through some stuff and you didn't know what you didn't know. And so, taking your 25 years and essentially saying, hey, here's what I've done, take what you like, use what you want. It's not going to be perfect for everyone. My program was a little bit different than what your program might be, but at least it gives you some points to start with. So that's awesome. Uh, you can get more on climb coaching at tkclimbcoaching.com, where you can follow him on climb coaching and mentoring on Facebook. Make sure you do that. And if you're a coach out there or a business leader looking to learn more about positivity and just mentorship, reach out to Coach Keal. I'm sure it would benefit everybody. So,
And it's I'm working with the football coach right now. Um, I've worked with Coach Bangle and his basketball team at Mill Valley. So I can come in and do workshops for a team as well.
mhm,
And there's a lot of different things that I can do. But in that coaching mentorship, those coaches have access to me for throughout the week. So it's not just the weekly Zoom. If they're having an issue, a problem, they shoot me a text and then I get back with them and because every single coach I've ever had in this program, I tell them, don't call me on your good days. I need you to call me on your worst day.
yeah,
But you know, the funny thing that the young coaches get something out of this, Jake, but the veteran coaches get a ton out of it. Cause I've had coaches that been in the game 20 or more years that, and they're getting, a new source of energy to finish out their career. Like it just, they get it like a dose of vitamin C. And it's really like we had the National Wrestling Girls Coach of the Year. He was in our group last year. I've had state champ coaches. Coach Vieira at DeSoto, he was in his first year at DeSoto. So we've had a wide range of coaches, and the thing is, I've been at every level. Like I've been the new coach, I've been the coach that's trying to build a program, and I've been the coach that's won championships and had so much stress that I felt like I was on this island by myself and had no one to talk to. And those are the coaches I can really help.
yeah.
Because I know how they're feeling, and no one knows how they feel. No one knows how they feel. I know how they feel, and I know how to talk to them, and I know how to give them the CPR of positivity in life, so they can move on with their days at hand.
Yeah.
But it's a coaches are special people to me, and I want to do my part through climb coaching to help them be the best version of themselves, so they can be great leaders of program. And really, the good coaches are playing chess, and the others might be playing checkers. So you kind of teach them how to play chess, and because the good ones are playing chess, A- and and the good coaches are the best students. That's what I learned.
It's all about wanting to grow and not just getting comfortable. And the best
Yeah.
coaches typically do. And I think I remember a few weeks ago, Drew Brees made a comment that sometimes greatness is lonely. And what you're trying to do when you finally reach that peak of being a great coach or a great program and win that championship is to make sure they know you don't have to be alone. Like,
Hmm.
shoot me a text, get connected with me, and we can stay in contact so that way you aren't alone. Because while greatness can be lonely, um, it's not always a good thing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So, uh, moving on to the quick hitters, some of the least favorite questions I ask coaches, but it starts conversations. So, give me some of the all time best wrestlers you've coached.
Well, I mean, I seen that question on there. To me, I every kid that's been through our program, I respect. I tell them like, if you make it through wrestling, you have my respect for the rest of your life, man. So to me, any kid that's been through the Mill Valley Jaguar wrestling program, I consider one of my favorite wrestlers because they did the work, they put in the time, they grew, they overcame struggle, and I respect them 100%. And so I can't really. I mean, I've coached a lot of great kids that never was on the varsity. I've coached great kids that have won championships. I've coached great kids that are all Americans, but I can't really. They're all important to me, and that's why I did it. So I never valued kids based on if they won or lost. I valued them on who they were as a person. So that
I
I
think
know that
you,
didn't get you. That
no,
didn't get
that's,
your answer, but
no, that's perfectly fine. Honestly, the wrestling coaches I've talked to, Cody Parks, Coach Hobby, Nick and Chaz at Minneapolis are, I think you guys must be taught a way to avoid that question because all four of you guys have done a really good job of avoiding it. But your answer and all of their answer leads me to believe that you have a good program. Because as I told, I think it was Chaz and Nick when they named off a few, and they're like, "Man, there's just too many." And it's not always about the guys that win the state championship. It's about, and then they told a story about a kid that helped him win a duel against Russell that never beat them by simply not getting pinned by the number 2 kid in the state. And so, as I told them, if you were able to just rattle off 1 or 2, maybe your program over 25 years wasn't great. And the fact that you can't, or you could, but you would have a laundry list of kids that state championships down to never making varsity that you'd wanna name, and, um, I don't know that
We'd be here for
I
a while.
was gonna say, I don't know either of our listeners are gonna want a list of all the wrestlers, just we'll just group them together. So, I'm gonna flip it though. In 25 years, you've had to rack your brain and help your kids try to defeat some really good wrestlers in the state of Kansas. So, if you have them on the top of your head, give me a few of the best wrestlers you've had to see your kids go against.
Well, number one is Wyatt Hendrickson. He's a Captain America heavyweight, so I've known Wyatt for a long time. I coached him in the summer, but he just won national championship for Oklahoma State, and he's just very tough. Like just a great kid. He graduated from the Air Force Academy and and moved on to he had another year, so he made it work at Oklahoma State. Let's see. There's just Kansas has a lot of really good wrestlers, and it's a shame that we don't have a Division I wrestling program because there's a we could put together a really good team. Tyler Caldwell is from Goddard. He's a assistant coach at Oklahoma State now. Tyler was a 4-time champ. You got Kendrick Maple, who's assistant coach at the University of Missouri right now. Um, he did great things in high school. Um, there's just there's a long laundry list of like just around here in Kansas City. We had there was Jared Sema who was really close to my boys. He wrestles at the University of Northern Iowa right now. He was a St. Thomas Aquinas graduate, and he was very tough. The Lout boys that went to St. James, Clay and Cade Lout, they both wrestled at North Carolina. So I mean, just a lot of kids that I had a the thing I got to do is like I got to coach these kids in the spring and the summer as well as compete against them during the wrestling season. It was awesome because we would just work out together, practice together, and then travel together, and then see them at high school tournaments. They come up and give me a hug. I've seen some at NCAA tournaments when I'm watching my boys. Those kids always come up and give me a hug and tell me thanks, coach, and that means a lot. But there's just so many good kids out there in Kansas, and I just been lucky to that I got to be around them.
What's the best NCAA wrestling program?
Well, I'm biased here because I got I mean I'm gonna go with Army West Point and University of Arkansas Little Rock because I just had my boys graduate. Zach graduated from Army West Point, and Austin graduated from University of Arkansas Little Rock in 5 years and got his MBA. And those places are special because of the people that are there. Those two programs, they care about the kids that are in their program. Um, the the kids know that, and as a parent, when you're on those visits, you feel it as well. You're like, this is a place that I want my son to come to, and I want to be part of this program because of the way the leadership is there, and you can really tell that they are for kids. And I'll always root for those two programs, even though my boys aren't there anymore. But I have a relationship with those coaches and the kids in the program, and just because they're not like Penn State or Oklahoma State, they don't get the money that those programs get. But those kids are very good kids. They're very good student athletes, and I'm always going to support them, man. But my favorite wrestling program of all time is Oklahoma State.
Okay. Last one. So you wrestled. You have 2
hmm
boys that wrestled.
hmm
Could you beat either of them in your prime? If you were
Heck
in your
no.
prime, they were in their prime, could you have beat them?
No, they would beat me. So when they were in high school, they were way better than I was. But like they're pretty big now. When they were in high school, they were like 132. Zach was 132. Austin was 145. And right now, Zach finished wrestling 149. Austin finished wrestling 165. And they both weigh like Austin's probably around 200 pounds, and now Zach's, I think he told me last night, 175. Like those dudes I would not want to wrestle them right now because they remember all the things I used to push them through, and they would try to hurt me. And I don't want to wrestle them. They're Division One wrestlers. I was a junior college wrestler. I can't be on the mat with them now.
Yeah. Did they ever cross paths in college, or were they never did those schools ever cross paths and wrestle each other?
There was a Not really in the in the normal season, but in the freestyle and Greco season, they were at the same weight in Las Vegas, and they about hit. That would have been that would have been terrible.
And it
Like
would
it
have
would,
been tough.
I would have
Yeah.
let. I wouldn't have watched. I would have let. Like I would have went out of the arena. But they almost wrestled. But
Well, we don't know that they're going to listen. So who would have won? You can go ahead and
I'm
let me
not.
know.
I'm not. I'm not going down that road.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. And I truly, that was a joke. Wouldn't ask you that to split between your boys, because the fact that they both made Division One is amazing. And kudos to
Mhm.
them in those programs. And I thank you for coming on, and I think what you're doing with climb coaching is awesome. I love benefiting coaches, especially at the high school and middle school ranks. Um, I think anything they can get to help them build their programs is a plus. As you mentioned, a lot of the education stuff that comes in through the school districts is for education, which is you can understand that, but throwing in
Mhm.
some help with the coaches is warranted as well. You can follow Coach Keal on X at Coach Keal24, and you can find more information about his new venture, tkclimbcoaching.com, or follow him on Facebook at Climb Coaching and Mentoring, and just seek it out. Ask questions. He's open, and I'm sure he can help any program, whether you're a basketball, football, soccer. It doesn't matter. He can help the coach in the program. So hit him up. And I thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate the time that you took today out of your busy schedule to have me on. But like you said, I'm here to help leaders and coaches, and if there's any coach out there that wants some mentorship or wants some advice, please reach out because I that is what I want to do now. I'm here to serve coaches and help them have a positive experience in their career. So thank you, Jake.